first start of the series, we're going to go ahead and work on the hamstring. So the hamstring test is really simple to do with a partner. What I'm going to have Mackenzie do is actually lay on her stomach, and we're just going to be just like we did the glute test, okay? And she's going to curl one heel again right over the knee. Now what I'm going to do is just grab the back of the heel right here, and I'm just going to work on pulling when I give her a go, okay? So Mackenzie, I want you to just think about loading that hamstring tight. Try to keep your hips on the ground. And then just hold it, and I'm going to try to see if I can pull your leg out, all right? So 3, 2, 1, she's holding, all right? And I put a little bit of force and I kind of overcome that. So the hamstring is not able to hold on completely. We'll do it one more time, 3, 2, 1, hold. All right, so it doesn't take a whole lot of my strength to do that. Now, yes, I do have the leverage example, but she should be able to have the strength to overcome that even so, okay? So what we're going to do on that is we're going to do is called a sacral rub, all right? So if you map out the back of the hips, we have a hip crest where you can feel it between a bone structure and like soft tissue collar, okay? And so you basically have fascia and like lower back muscles that creep right over the top of the hips, and then you feel like this crunchy fascia slash like soft tissue fabric on the hip structure. And that's really what we're targeting, is that squishy, crunchy little tissue on the hip. So basically what I'm going to do is, if I was doing it myself, I would take knuckles, right, like this with my knuckles, and I would do a sacral scrub on the top of the hips. And I would just scrub in right along where that waistband is, okay? And then I would also work right down the instep of the sacrum, right? So kind of like where the two glutes curve in, right? You get that little space in between the sacrum part of our hip structure. So I want to take those knuckles and I want to rub that little triangle right above the glute, all right? And I want to scrub into that. You can even work down the butt cheeks a little bit, right down the narrow, all right? So if I get that sacral scrub, which basically makes like a very wide open V or a shelf, right? That's what we're trying to do. If you have a partner, you can use your knuckles or you can use fingertips, and I can do circle scrub right on that same spot. So you need to trust your partner. You need to understand that they're trying to help you with this. They need to know what they're doing as well. But there is an option to do it for yourself as well, and it's all very effective, okay? All right, so that's all I did. Work that crest. So all the way along the top edge of the hip crest, and then kind of in that little triangle right above where the glutes round in, okay? So this sacrum joint, essentially. All right? That's a really quick wake up on that. What you could also do is take thumbs and just kind of peel in between the middle of the hamstring. So if you imagine like columns of hamstring muscles, you kind of take your thumbs, just do a little bit of a pull and a squeeze apart, right? Like just kind of oscillating movement. And I just kind of cup around the thigh with the hand gently. Again, not trying to produce any kind of pain or discomfort for her, okay? So we just want to make sure that we can get sensations that happen there, turn on that muscle properly. So now what Mackenzie's going to do is going to go ahead and do that same flex. She's going to hold 3, 2, 1, keep it on. And there I am pulling it even more force, but she's still holding very strong. So that's what I mean. We really want to be able to see the hamstring turn on, stay on, and just be able to overcome external forces like that, because they can express that force in the athletic movements that we do with the cat. Next up, we're going to turn her over. We're going to get the quad function done, okay? So quad is a really popular one that we need to make sure we check in often, all right? And so this one does do best to have a partner to help test it with, but you can easily do it for yourself in terms of the weight on everything, okay? So what I want you to do for the test is one partner lays on their back. They flex one knee just like directly into this hip flexion, toe straight up, knee straight up, okay? But we're not going to bring it all the way into 90 degrees. I actually want you to bring it out so it's about 45 to 30 degrees in the knee, all right? So not all the way through, but maybe about half of that. And then I want you to watch out for this big toe hooking up, okay? Let that big toe stay relaxed. Their cue is to just hold this leg here. I'm going to try to push into the thigh and try to flatten the leg out. That will recruit the quad muscle to turn on. Meanwhile, she's just going to lay on her back and just try to get that muscle to turn on by itself. So 3, 2, 1, hold. All right, so we have like a good strong signal, easy to overcome, okay? So in terms of self wake-ups, you can think about Peter Pan, right, where he sits with doing like a circle scrub with the pressure on the fingertips, right in that little space on the oblique, underneath the wrist, okay? And if you scrape on the rib a little bit, that's okay too, right? So it's all gonna help. Really try to watch out for like bracing your obliques. Try to stay relaxed in the abs. And just do a few seconds passing through. You can work it from the very lateral edge of the rib cage all the way to the slight front edge, where the obliques and the abs kind of meet and cross over, right? And then what we also want to do is called a knee and low rub. Okay, so knee and low is one of the muscles in the inner thigh of the quad. All right, and that happens to be one of the main active sites here that we really want to target for this. So essentially, what I want to do is rotate the knee out, get my thumb on this soft, fleshy part inside the thigh, right above the knee. So if we have this really dense set of muscle on the front, if I come in up on the inside, it should feel soft and fleshy. There may be some muscle mass meat there, right? And that's okay. But if you use just a little bit of thumb pressure and kind of do a clamp, you can feel how sensitive that spot is as you kind of push right in towards the middle of the thigh bone. Okay? So for Mackenzie here, what I'll do is just kind of use my fingers. I'll get right above the knee on the inside. I'm just going to do a little squeeze and pull things. She's got a reaction right away. It's a sensitive spot, okay? And so all I do is just do a little circle, work up a half inch, do another little circle, and just do that for like a 3-inch length of space along that inner thigh. I'm not trying to go all the way up, okay? I'm going to stay pretty close to the knee, just on the inside, all right? You get a reaction like that, perfect, right? That's a good sign. That's what we want, okay? There's another part to this where we kind of get a little clamp. So I'm basically using the thumb on the outside of the thigh, and using the fingers on the inside. So I clamp, and then I'm going to pull those 2 fingers on the inside outward while clamped. All right, so we call that a strip on the adductor, so that strip on the inner thigh. And that just really cements in that signal, okay? So now all I got to do is have Mackenzie do is get this same relative starting position. I set up 3, 2, 1, and she holds, and she stays, and that's really good, right? So that's the quad reset, the strength function there with that. All right, so next up, we got a lateral sling. So in this one, Mackenzie's going to stand up next to me. And we'll move the table a little bit. Give me a moment. All right, so think of your lateral sling as a system of muscles that help you produce stability at the hip. It helps with our balance when we're in a single leg stance position, whether that's in a slightly hinge or a high step like I was just in. All right. So 4 functions of stability in the hip, which helps with power recruitment with rotation, right? We want to have a strong sense of that assessment. So there's a standing functional assessment, and there's one that we can do lying on your back and testing individual components of it. But if Mackenzie was to be standing straight up, strong, proud, and tall, and I came in with a thumb just on the edge of her hips, without telling her when, I was just going to try to produce a force into the hip, okay, right through the hip, and see if I can knock her off balance, all right? So one thumb with a little bit of an arm, her whole hip structure and leg, right, does not take much, okay? Yes, I'm strong, yes, she's small. Still, she should be able to hold her ground, and she will, okay? So, to fix that, all right, just going to lay on her back. And there's 2 sites that we're going to work